A warm welcome for Narendra Modi from Benjamin Netanyahu as he arrived in Israel. Two populist leaders with similar national politics basked in the glow of their shared friendship.
I would almost venture to say, more than a friend, a brother. In many ways, brothers.
Modi addressed the Israeli parliament.
At the same time, I also carry with me the deepest condolences of the people of India for every life lost and for every family whose world was shattered in the barbaric terrorist attack by Hamas on October 7. India stands with Israel firmly, with full conviction in this moment and beyond.
Modi is facing criticism at home for his visit. An estimated 220 million Indians are Muslim. Some lawmakers there were pushing Modi to address the plight of Palestinians in Gaza. His speech focused on economic ties. Modi stressed how India's economic growth and Israel's innovation create a natural foundation for their trade partnership. Chief among their trade interests, defense.
A strong defense partnership between trusted partners like India and Israel is of vital importance.
Thank you, my friend.
Modi is expected to lock in a major weapons deal with Israel. According to media reports, the sale of Israeli air defense systems, including laser defense weapons, is likely to be finalized. India's government says trade between the two countries reached more than $3.6 billion over the last 2 years. Talks for an India-Israel free trade agreement are underway.
Now let's talk about this with our Middle East analyst, Shani Rozanes. Shani, you're following these talks. What will the two be discussing? What's it on top of the agenda there, you think?
Defense, and more defense. India is one of the world's biggest importers of weapon and defense. Of course, Israel has a lot to offer on that front. And we've also heard before this trip already on several new deals that were signed. And the key of it is Israel sharing not just ready equipment, but also bringing India into the phases of joint production and even more sophisticated technologies that, of course, the Indians very much want because the never-ending conflict with Pakistan, of course, they appreciate very much Israel's support. And that, it also partially what cements this alliance between Israel and India.
The relationship between these two leaders, do they click?
Oh, very much, very much. First of all, Modi is only the fourth leader visiting Israel since October 7th. Netanyahu needs that. He needs to show he is not a pariah. He needs to show there's still an international interest in him and in the state of Israel. Of course, this is also, it's the first time Modi will be speaking to the parliament, not his first visit in Israel. There's a lot of warm connections there. The reception was very warm between them, and it seems to be, for definitely much more for Netanyahu to gain here than Modi. But I think also for Modi, it's important for him. He's always kept this multi-alliance policy of India, and Israel, of course, is a very important pillar of that.
Now, the Israeli Prime Minister says India and Israel want to build an axis of nations. What's that going to look like? Well,
I think if there's anything that Trump's time in the White House have taught the world is that alliances that they used to know are no longer relevant or not necessarily the only game in town. And India has definitely seen what happens when Trump is turning colder to you. And that's definitely something that Indians have been grappling with in the last year of Trump in the White House. And partly what they're trying to build, and Israel very much is interested in that as well, is an alliance that is, of course, the way India sees it. In the case with Israel, my enemy's enemy is my friend, in the sense that Pakistan and the threat that it poses to India, of course, matters to Israel. They have the Saudis there. They have the Turkey that is also bothering Israel a lot. And that's a big part of that alliance. They're trying to build some sort of an arch. Originally, what was supposed to bring these countries together was what's called the IMAC, the corridor, a land corridor for transportation of goods, leading from India all the way to the Mediterranean through Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. That seemed to be on ice because, first of all, it was a Biden initiative, so there's not much appetite under the Trump administration to push it forward. But we've also seen alliances in the region changing, mostly Saudi now. Saudi relations with Israel getting colder, normalization getting further and further. And of course, there's also a lot of tension now between the Saudis and the United Arab Emirates. So India might try to resuscitate this project, but it's still not clear what's the future of it.
Thank you very much, Shani Rozanes, our Middle East analyst. Thank you, Shani.
Well, Siddharth Varadarajan is a journalist and founding editor of the Indian digital news portal The Wire. Welcome to DW. Let's start with how Narendra Modi's visit to Israel is being seen there in India.
People are split. Supporters of the government are, of course, very enthusiastic because they've always looked at Israel as some kind of model country and have always wanted India to deepen ties with Israel. But critics of the government, the opposition, for example, are aghast that he would choose to visit Israel at this time when war clouds are gathering in West Asia. There's talk of an imminent attack on Iran. And, of course, the unfinished business of what's happening with the Palestinians, the land grabs in the West Bank, the fact that Israel is violating the ceasefire in Gaza, continues to kill Palestinian civilians, and you have unaccounted, the whole accusations of war crimes against Netanyahu over the conduct of the entire attack on Gaza for 2.5 years. So this has left many people in India with a deep sense of disquiet that Modi would choose to go to Israel at a time like this.
Okay, but this has been a direction of travel for this government, hasn't it? India had no diplomatic ties with Israel until '92, and since being elected, Narendra Modi has sought ever closer relations. What's driving that?
What's driving it are several factors. I think there is the ideological affinity between Mr. Modi, his party, the BJP, and Israel. What Mr. Modi and Netanyahu, or Mr. Modi and the Likud and the Israeli government would share is a certain worldview where Islam is a problem, is seen as some kind of a threat. So that's something that is driving the BJP. And then, of course, you have the desire to increase your purchase of Israeli defense equipment. So there is a strong security, defense, military relationship between the two countries. Right now, I think what's driving Mr. Modi's latest visit to Israel is perhaps to use this signaling as a bridge to repair relations with Trump, because he knows that one relationship the US values the most is its relationship with Israel. And at a time when India-US ties are a bit frayed, I suspect he's using this visit as some means of sending a signal to Donald Trump.
Okay. And as well as deepening relations with Israel, India's also maintaining ties with Israel's archenemy, Iran. Tell us more about how New Delhi is balancing its relations in the Middle East.
So there was an interesting moment in the speeches that Netanyahu and Modi made to the Knesset today. Netanyahu spoke about an alliance between India and Israel. And the word that Mr. Modi preferred to use was partnership. And I think there's a world of a difference between these two. India does not see its ties with Israel, and this applies to Modi too, as something which forces India to abandon its traditional ties and relationships with countries in the region. So India has strong economic and political ties with Iran, civilizational ties with Iran. We also have strong ties with other countries in the region, and I don't think anybody in India is keen to jettison those in order to draw closer to Israel or the US. So I think that this is going to be a test for Indian policy, quite frankly.
Right.
And so far at least, it seems as if India is not ready to forsake Iran.
And tell us about the importance of the defence ties between Israel and India.
There's a number of systems that India buys. And of course, you have cooperation in drones. There's now talk of India trying to buy Israeli missile defense. There was a story in today's Hindustan Times about India seeking to buy Iron Dome, perhaps Iron Beam. These are systems that Israel has developed either in association with the US or by itself that have appeared to be very successful in the last war that Israel fought with Iran. So there's a lot of interest on the side of the Indian security establishment to acquire some of these systems. So I think that the deepening defense aspect is definitely going to be a strong component of the India-Israel relationship.
Good talking to you. Thanks for talking us through that, journalist Siddharth Varadarajan.